Hello, and welcome to this edition of the Angels and Destiny show. Why is this show called this, you may ask? So I'll tell you. The accept meaning of angel is messenger, and the accept meaning of destiny is to make firm establish. So my guest and I bring you messages to establish what you need to know in the present. And of course, I like working with angels and the calmness they bring. Now, in a moment, I will introduce you to my wonderful guest, Sharon Lynn. But before that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching the show live at a later date, as it means a lot to both Sharon and I to be connected to like-minded people. Now, if you've never met me before, then my name is Ray, and I'm the founder of Radiant Angel Energy, and I'm a guide who helps you remember your divine presence so that you can heal your past, create your future, find your purpose to expand your consciousness, understand your spiritual path, get clarity on your next steps to take, and take charge of your destiny so you can feel your purpose in this lifetime. Now, each episode of this show covers various themes of your journey, a mini guided meditation or an angel oracle card reading with the wisdom of my wonderful guests, like today's returning guest, Sharon Lynn, about your soul's language and uncovering and expressing your unique voice. Now, whether you're a spiritual practitioner, lightworker, healer, or simply love singing, then we are going to explore how to activate and express your unique voice. We'll delve into how these frequencies can elevate your ability to speak or sing your truth, deepen your spiritual practice, and enhance your healing. And Sharon may just reveal something new that has been reawoken in her. Now, Sharon is known as an expanding conscious mentor, a highly intuitive soul, starseed and transformational facilitator. She has worn many hats over the years, including that of clairvoyant, shaman, creative author, soul healer, and facilitator of change. She is qualified in Indian head massage, feng shui, and vibrational healing, crystal and spiritual healing, with the use of sound and color. Now, as a speaker, author, creative workshop facilitator, and mentor, her purpose is to share wisdom to enlighten, guide, and inspire others in being their best vibration they can be, thus raising the vibration of the collective consciousness through love. Now, Sharon is also the founder of Mystic Mouse Publishing, empowering through awareness, empowering through design. So, without further delay, hello, Sharon, and welcome to the Angels and Destiny show. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you. Thank you for having me back.
You are more
We've
than
got a bit of
welcome.
spiritual heating going on here this evening
We
between
we
us.
we have we keep having these heat spurts. So before we get into this fascinating conversation, I want to remind you that not only can you share this video, but you can also ask questions, leave comments and thoughts, as both Sharon and I want you to be part of this conversation. So please don't be shy. And I can see that we've already got Claire here. We've got
Dan, Harley,
Jan
June.
here. We've got Andy. Hi, Andy. Yeah, we've got Harley. Great to see you again, Harley. June. And I think, what else have we got? Oh, and Harley has given you loads of songs in the
That's why I put
comments.
my glasses on because I was like, oh, I didn't have this sidebar before. I could actually see some, yeah, I could see some songs popping up. Oh my days.
Yeah. So Sharon, why don't you tell us more about your journey and how we can uncover and express our soul's language?
Well, my journey is a long one, as you well know, Ray. So I'm probably not going to start at the beginning, otherwise that'll take the whole show. And anybody that's seen this before could, has sort of heard a little bit about my journey. So I think I'm going to start with the most recent journey and sort of reawakening for me, in that I suppose this the content for this show actually started on the last Lion's Gate. Well, not the last one, the last year's one. And I didn't think anything really of it at all until a couple of weeks ago, after we'd sort of set the date for this. Well, actually, it was weeks ago that we set the date for this. I can't believe we're here already.
I
Just
know it's just gone.
it was like, how did that happen? It seemed ages ago when you said, oh, do you want to come on the show again? And it was like, an August date. And I'm like, crikey. But yeah, so, I mean, I suppose really I should talk about, for this particular session, my journey with using voice and sound and things like that. So as a vibrational healer, my husband and I qualified back in, I don't know, 2001, I think it was, so 20 odd years ago. And I guess that's really where the spiritual voice started to sort of open up. I'd always loved singing, but I mean, you know, I would not class myself as a singer. And I think really that probably when I started to drum and use the Native American drums, I think that's probably when my voice really came into its own. So I would do, you know, sort of chants and bits and bobs, and you know, and then if I changed, you know, was working with crystal bowls or something like that, then obviously there would be other tones and harmonics and things come through. So yeah, just, you know, I've done all sorts of things, as you know, but the journey this time around, if I sort of share what's landed me here with Soul's language this evening, when we went to the Little Horse Yard last August, Caroline does her lovely crystal bowls up there, as you know. I actually managed to get there for once, and you know, I love sound, love the bowls, and I just sat there just soaking it all in, as you do. And I just started to hear different words, languages, dialects, I don't know, you know, what other people would probably class as light language. So I was practicing what I classed as light language, probably about 15 odd years ago, for a few years. And then, as you know, I had a near death in 2018 and things just all went a bit wobbly. And, you know, I've been quite quiet and just bimbling along in the background. Anyway, when I went and looked up some of the words that I could grasp out of the ethers as being something that maybe I might be able to look up, I looked them up, and a lot of them were sort of like Hawaiian, you know, and Kahuna sort of dialect. So anyway, again, didn't really think any more of it. I've just been happily singing away in strange languages and dialects in my car for the last year, and to myself. And then when hubby goes out once a week, you know, the music goes on and I'm singing along. And I realised that so I was like, well, why am I doing this? Why is this happening? First of all, it was happening because I didn't know the words to the song. So love the song, love the music, was then just chucking any old other thing in there. You can't sing either, says Andy.
I know. I don't do karaoke either.
Well, I used to do karaoke, but not very well, to be fair. So where was I? Yeah, so singing along. Hubby goes out once a week, and you know, when I didn't know the words, you know, other I can't even say words, but I'm going to have to call them words. They're not really words, but you know, other words was coming in. Not like a parody. You know, Tissays and Hakars and Manahays and, you know, all sorts of things. And it's been happening so much more that last week I thought, I'm going to have to say something to hubby because he's going to just walk in on me doing this strangeness at some point. Now, he's used to my strangeness. He kicked me off on it 20 odd years ago, so I wasn't really too worried about that. But there's been something about this that has made me sort of go, oh, like, I love it, and I love doing it, and I thought it was just for me, so I wasn't worried when I thought it was just for me. And then thinking about what to do for the show this evening, it's been getting more and more powerful, more and more powerful. No, you need to share, you need to share, you need to share. Not nearly swore then, for flip's sake.
You won't be the first.
I know, well, you know, I can be, you know, when I get excited or passionate about things, I'm like, oh no, really? I really like, and it's so bizarre because I mean, I never batted an eyelid about karaoke. I never batted an eyelid about chanting when I was doing all the drumming. Never bothered me to do light language and click like a dolphin and squeaks and goodness knows what else, when all of that was coming through from who only knows where, right? Soul, ETs, whatever you want to call it that is intangible. So a couple of weeks ago, I had two ladies here. They'll know who they are if they're watching. And I said to them, right, this is what's been happening to me. I apparently need to share it. So I was like, right, I'm just going to stick a song on. And actually, I didn't stick a song on. I just said to one of the ladies, just give me a song that, you really like, but you don't know all the words to, because that was sort of like the best way for me to say, what's been happening. So I can't remember now what yes, I do know what she picked. Yeah, so she picked up We Will Rock You. So we were sitting there going, we all know how it starts. And then, unless you're a Queen fan, you probably don't actually know all the words. I certainly didn't know all the words. So I just closed my eyes and I just tuned in, and I was going, and I was like, right, and whatever it was came out. And all the hairs just stood up on end. And it was just, I don't know, so only about 10-20 seconds, but it was like, that was the first sort of like, I'm like, oh, okay. And that made me realise that what came out of my mouth then when they were here, and there was a completely random song and not one on my playlist, the sort of the dialects, that's what I'm going to call them, were different to what I've been used to hearing myself doing in the car. So that's maybe what I'm going to do a little bit of an example of later on, if I pluck up the courage. Just going to stick a song on and just let it come out, because my fascination really is to see whether, so it's sort of a test run really, because what I want to see is, actually, does anybody feel anything from this? Because as you know, I always work, at soul level for anybody. So I don't work psychically anymore. So I don't have to know, who I'm working with. I don't have to see them. I just, ask for the highest good soul level stuff, as most of us do. So that's sort of one thing around what might happen this evening. But as I said to you before we got on the call, I think more importantly, irrespective of what happens to me or through me or not, as the case may be, shortly, it's about letting other people know that it's okay to just say or sing whatever you want to say or sing. So there will be loads of people out there who already do what they class as light language, whatever that is. It's different for everybody. I know I was just thinking, I can see things coming up there. Do I put my glasses on? I'm like, no, I should.
No, you don't have to. I can do that. I can do the. For anyone who's not seen it, I do. I sometimes the words are a little bit, so I do have to put these on.
Oh, I've just spotted Andy say, I don't like it when you're singing a song and the singer gets the words wrong. Oh, God. Well, then you're going to hate what I do, Andy, because when I don't know the words, it's just any old thing comes out. But what was I saying? Yeah, so before the call, I was sort of saying to you, it's actually more about bringing confidence to other people. So, the whole thought of doing this live this evening, I mean, particularly now I know there's people watching and listening, I'm like, why do I feel so nervous? It's just ridiculous, because I don't normally, when you channel and you just trust, you just absolutely trust. So it's a bit of a weird one for me, and I think the answer to that is that to show people that actually, even after 20 odd years of doing all of this stuff, shine your light. 20 odd years of doing all this stuff, in this latest shift where something it's not new, but something has reawakened in me. And there is a question mark as to whether to share it or not. I'm not going to be the only one going through this. Like, there's going to be a gazillion people on the planet right now that in these latest shifts, I mean, don't get me started on the other topic we were going to talk about, which is how's your head, you know, and all this solar flare and geomagnetic energy and whatnot. Michelle said, you know, you're going to intertwine everything. You will bring all of that into the conversation. But yeah, you know, there are epic shifts going on right now, individually for people, collectively, you know, for the consciousness of the planet and, you know, the consciousness of humanity. You know, animal consciousness is shifting and changing as well. You know, the messages that I'm getting from the animal kingdom, it, you know, is slightly different to how it was, you know, a few years ago. So everything's shifting, changing, evolving, and I know that there will be, you know, 100% there will be people out there going, oh, well, something's happening to me and through me, and I don't really know. Just be brave, just let it out. But yeah, I knew you would say, I can't wait to see what you feel. Yeah. So yes, I will do something. All right, everybody.
Yeah.
But so I think it's really more about confidence, you know, for other people, to help people to speak their truth, sing their truth, you know, let sounds come out. It doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter, you know, there's no wrong. So even if you sound horrendous, if you're, you know, whether you're with anybody or not, it doesn't matter. You know, this is not a singing competition. It's not about, you know, it's about soul's language. So the other thing that I want to share before I do anything, because I think pre-framing it will be helpful, is that for the last 2 days, knowing that I was coming on, I have obviously been singing to myself quite a bit. Because what I wanted to sort of dig deeper into was, is there a particular, you know, sort of sound or dialect, for want of a better way of putting it, that's coming through? Because it's not that I'm singing a different language. I am 100% absolutely not am singing a different language. It's not like I'm singing an English song in French. That's not what's happening here. Because, you know, I can get to the chorus, and what comes through me for each chorus will be completely different to, you know, what the previous chorus was. So it is definitely some sort of dialect, for want of a better way of putting it. Now, the way that I'm currently understanding it is that because everything is all one and we're all so interconnected big time, and that's a whole other conversation for another day as well, about the interconnectedness and everything and all that is right now, because I mean, that is being made so, I'm just being made so abundantly aware of that more and more and more than ever. You know, the more time you spend in nature, the more you will realise how interconnected everything is. But what I feel is potentially happening is that, you know, I'm listening to the tune, I'm going along with the tune, and then mouth opens, and because I'm connected to source, everything and all that is, or that's the intention, that's what I assume is happening, is that anything from anywhere just plops in. So that was the first thing. Secondly, yesterday I was like, right, I really need to listen to this. So I've actually written some things down, so I might have to put my glasses on for this in a minute, because before the session I thought, right, I'm going to have a little bit of a sing-song, listen to what's actually coming through. Now, this is just obviously a tiny little amount, but it's things that I've regularly heard myself repeating when I'm singing gobbledygook, right? So put my glasses on and I'll share with you a couple of things. And I thought, I wonder if these actually mean anything anywhere. So I regularly hear myself singing te say or to say or something along, and the way I saw it written was TESE. So that was the first thing I looked up. I mean, and I'm not saying that this is the only thing it means, of course it isn't, but you know what it's like when you go and research something, you find the very thing that you're meant to find, right? So this is what happened. So to say, or TC, however, TE. So TE, the very first definition I found for it was to or for yourself. SE, to or for him or for her or for oneself or for themselves. So the way I interpret that is that whenever I'm going to say or whatever it is in this song, it's for me, it's for you, it's for everything and all that is, and just all encompassing. Then I quite often hear myself singing something like Toya or Loya or Moya. So I looked up Toya because that was the first one. I thought, well, Loya and Moya I'm probably gonna have to look a bit harder for those. But they're spelled in my head like Toya, but with an L and with an M or with an N or whatever. Toya means guardian. I thought, oh, that's actually a really cool word for, spirituality in and of itself. So you will interpret guardian however you wish. Guardian of the planet, guardian of yourself. I'm not saying that I'm a guardian, but mana. Now mana comes up a lot. Now I used to have a crystal skull, huge, bigger than my head, blue aragonite crystal skull, who gave himself the name Manaka Minawi. And so obviously I went and looked that up at the time. So I knew that mana was sort of breath, spiritual life force energy, that sort of thing. There's obviously lots of keys as well, like KIs when I'm singing, which again is, means the same thing, but just in a different language and a different dialect. This evening I heard myself singing Shona. So I looked up Shona. Shona means love, beauty, beautiful. It's also an African tribe. Noya was another one. Oh, so that's like Toya, but I did look up Noya. Noya, beauty of God was what I found Noya to be. And Koi, I hear myself singing Koi quite a lot, as in like Koi Kahop, but I'm sure that's not what it's meant to be. Koi, affection, love, blessings. So I'm like, this is really interesting. So what I feel is happening is almost like, bat. I said to you, didn't I? I don't know whether to put my light on out there, but I used, so bat, resurrection, rebirth, isn't it? So it's all relevant, so for anybody watching, go and have a look up bat medicine later, because obviously what's happening in here is for all of you as well. So where was I before the bat interrupted me?
Where were you before the bat? Yes, Noya.
Noya, beauty,
Koi.
Yes, puja was what I was going to say. So it reminded me of singing. So like when the Tibetans sing like a puja chant, there's a lot of repetitive same stuff, but essentially it's all about blessings, peace, prayer. It's all that wonderful, you know me, I love my emotional ladder, my emotional scale. It's all that peace, bliss, love, harmony, gratefulness, thankfulness, all of those wonderful, expansive emotions, expansive vibrations, heartfelt vibrations that we all, really love and aspire to get our energies to. So that's a whistle-stop tour. Obviously not my own whole personal journey, but the recent journey that's relevant to, sort of why we're here this evening. So I have no idea whether my Echo Dot is going to behave itself, because a couple of times this afternoon, Sharon, you'll do great. You've been somewhat channeling. You've been called to do this. Yeah, I know. I know exactly. That's the reason. It doesn't make it any less internally harrowing. I'm sweating. Absolutely sweating. So while I just fan myself here for a second, I don't know. Absolutely. The symbol symbolizes the journey of the soul, the koi fish. 100%. And again, that also about abundance and beauty and grace and flow and freedom. And gosh, I don't believe this, Sharon. While you were talking, I was reminded that I often mumble stuff and often get Ishkabar repeated. Diddly-dee, while looking it up, gobbledygook, and I'm totally blown away now. Oh, there you go. So if only one person goes and looks up what they think is gobbledygook and gets something from this, part of my work here is done, as they say. No, I'm doing a Toya impression here. Like the 80s look with the wind machine. That's what I feel like I need. So yeah, earlier on, I was asking my Echo Dot for songs, and sometimes she plays ball and she plays exactly what I ask her to, and sometimes she does that whole, if you want to listen to a particular song, you need to subscribe. So I apologise in advance if that happens and I have to go, no, thank you, or stop her and do something else. So let's look at some of the songs.
Yeah, I was going to say, so whoever's watching now, because I can't really, I could go back, can't go back.
No.
One song you would like to hear.
If not, I'm just going to stick on my own normal playlist, because at least then you'll get the idea of what happens to me and through me when I'm singing along to one of my own songs that I know the tune to, if you see what I mean. Interestingly, what I have found is it happens much easier, and this is just for me, so everybody is going to be different here. When I used to do light language, it could be at any tempo, but generally would be much slower. Chanting, mid-tempo to fast. This also seems to be mid-tempo to fast. I seem to find it, I won't say really hard because I don't like using those terms, but it seems to be less flowy. I seem to have to force it when it's a slow song. Now, that doesn't mean that I particularly want like bamba or anything like that that's really fast and whizzy, but right, has anybody got anything coming up?
They haven't, but as the regulars of this show know, not of this show, but of the Angels and Spirits show, we often, because it always comes to me, Frozen, let it go. Let it go, let it go. So
yeah, that's actually a really difficult song to sing, pitch wise.
Yeah, I never. God knows what it sounds like when it comes out of my mouth. That's all I'm going to say.
I can't actually even think how it goes tune wise, other than let it go, and hold it back anymore. How does the verse go?
I don't know. See if your echo knows.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Alexa, play Let It Go.
Let It Go from Frozen / soundtrack version by Adina Menzel on Amazon Music.
And we've got the Adina version as well.
Perfect.
Snow falls on a mountain top or something.
Snow flows away on the mountain, into isolation. It looks like I'm a queen. The wind is howling, like this swirling sword inside. Let it go, don't hold it back anymore. Let it go, let it go. Cold never bother me anyway. It's funny how some distance I am near kissing. Fears and ones control me. More you kicking. No more Muy amek meneshe Mambe Koi no manate ne sepi no mane Come ne te say ande Muy amek Come muy amek
Hey.
Alexa, shush, stop.
And Harley says,
I have
so cool,
never
beautiful.
in my life sung that song other than Let It Go, Let It Go. I had no idea how high that was. I'm like, oh my gosh, if we're going to take that down a notch or two.
Okay,
Yoy.
well, Harley has suggested Walking on Sunshine.
Walking on sunshine, oh, I'm walking on sunshine. Hang on, how does that start? God, flipping it. I should know, I used to sing this in my band that lasted for about 3 months with Lorenzo. Oh, how does it start? Walking on sunshine. Because what I want to try and do is my version without that in the background, so that I can sing it in the. You wouldn't have got that high. No, I was listening to it, tune, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm never going to get up there. Alexa, play Walking on Sunshine.
Shuffling Walking on Sunshine and similar songs on Amazon Music.
I used to think maybe you love me now, baby. Right. Oh, I might be able to do it along to that. Used to think maybe you love me now, baby, I'm sure. And boy, I'm a neck on a tissy, I'm in a no. I'm in a connect, I'm in a and I just can't wait till you write me, you're coming around. This is high again. I'm walking on sunshine. All right, Alexa, stop.
Oh dear.
I tell you what I did sing along to earlier on. I'd never heard it before. I didn't know what it was. It was actually one of the songs that Annie Rust put, which was Joy. Will Young, I hadn't heard that. I heard it for the first time earlier on, and I was like, yeah, and off I went. I'm much better singing men's songs than I am female songs. Right, so let me, what did I write down here earlier on?
Yeah. Well, Jan says, it really reminds me of your shamanic side. White Elk Woman felt natural to be coming from you.
Bless her.
Harley says, was dancing at her
Dancing at this end, yeah. My dancing was better to Walking on Sunshine than my singing. Yeah, what was it? And Jolene came up, I think, earlier on, didn't it?
Yeah, I think that was that was one of them. I can't remember the rest.
So you asked for Let It Go. So Let It Go really was your choice. So listening to Let It Go, how? Because I ain't got a clue what I sounded. I mean, I'm gonna be cringing watching this. I don't even know if I can go back and watch this. Because I videoed myself earlier on and I was like, oh, no, I can't do that live. It's just a sheer embarrassment. But the big object of the exercise, as I said to you earlier on, is like, well, I've made a complete potential ass of myself. I don't know yet because I haven't watched it, but the thing is, I've done it. So if anything like this is coming to you that you want to let out through you, so June, I know I'm going to use as an example because I know she's watching, you know, and she just thought it was gobbledygook. You know, actually, no, maybe not. You know, it's, for me, you know, the last year singing along and doing all of this stuff in the car, because it comes and goes. It's like I can do a whole song in it, or I can do just a tiny bit of a song in it. It's random, totally random. But when you let yourself go, not let it go, but you know, when you really let yourself go, I mean, it just feels so amazing, expansive. And what I have really found is that in these latest shifts, so this is just sort of one of the ways, you know, that obviously using your voice can be really healing. I felt it quite difficult to get the breath really in. It's like, you know, like when we're having a real shift, I find my solar plexus gets quite tight sometimes, and I can't get the air right down into the diaphragm. And yesterday I was having one of those days where I was like, oh, I just can't really get my breath. Like I couldn't get a really good lung full of air. And I just, you know, I was driving back last night and I just stuck the music on, and I mean, some of the lengths of the notes that were coming out, I'm like, how? Because I was doing this. I was like, how is that even possible? I've barely been able to get a normal breath to speak all day, start singing in this strange dialect, and some, you know, open up to that soul consciousness, unity, whatever you want to call it. And I'm like, wow, you know, my body feels no aches and pains. My body feels amazing. I was like, so much, you know, air in my lungs. It was just incredible. So,
Yeah. Well, Harley says, I've been having a bunch of not very great days at this end. Thank you for the wonderful joy.
yay!
So you know,
the world.
yeah. So you know, it brings out, you know, that joy that people can actually enjoy. You know,
Well,
I've had a crap time. Oh my God, that's just really lifted me up.
yeah, and I think for me as well, which is one thing I meant to say at the beginning, so thank you for reminding me, is that what I've also found is that there's so many banging tunes out there, but you listen to the lyrics, and like, so I've got really, really, really sensitive to a lot of lyrics these days. It's like, I mean, you know, going back in the day, I mean, I did used to listen to some heavy stuff. You know, I did used to listen to Metallica and, you know, some thick bits and pieces like that with ex-partners and whatnot. But, you know, some of those lyrics now, I mean, not Metallica specifically, but, you know, some of those lyrics now, but anything, even it, like, I don't know, let's take Stick Season as an example. Noah What's His Face, that was like, you know, my favourite song a few weeks ago. And, you know, you listen to that and it's still about breakups and relationship and it's just like, oh, for goodness sake. And you know, so doing this for me, it's like, oh, okay, if I am speaking in some sort of peace, bliss, love, blessing, dialect, universal, and so we're now not talking about, oh, woe is me, relationships, and he left me or she left me or this, that, and the other, and all the heartache stuff that everybody seems to sing about. It just has a whole different vibe. I mean, there's so many amazing tunes that have just got really lyrics to
Yeah.
So try it, guys and gals. Just, you know, and it doesn't matter if you're not doing, you know, what I'm doing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're humming or lahring or taying or oohing or. I mean, yesterday I thought, if I'm going to run a workshop around this, I need to find some examples to get people going, because if people hear me doing all sorts of different things and they're not confident, and they haven't done light language, or they haven't done any channeling, and they've not done anything in public, and they don't do karaoke, they're going to go, I can't possibly do that. I can't possibly do what Sharon does. But actually, we all can. If you can sing along in the shower or in the car, you know, so next time you're doing that, don't think, oh, I've got to do all these huckahs and tenays and whatever else it is that comes out of my mouth. Find your own soul's language. And that's the point I was, you know, I'm sort of getting across, is because I think whatever is coming through me when I'm on my own is my own soul's language. Yours might be completely different. You know, you might tap into, you know, Asian dialect, you might tap into an African dialect, you might tap into a North American dialect, you might tap into all of them, all at the same time. It might just be a la 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 or a hoo ya hey. You know, but start with something simple. You know, I love my motto, keep it simple, sweetheart.
Yes.
You know, keep it simple, sweetheart. So, you know, whatever your favourite song is, you know, if it's Let It Go, you know, just initially, la la la, la la la, la 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 la, and then bring in something else. Mana me, me, na ma na ma ma ne. For example. Oh, I'm much better singing it in that key than I am there.
Yeah, well, it's, you know, it's a bit difficult to match reminders. You know.
I mean, you might as well have asked me to sing "This Is It" or whatever it is. No, "This Is Me," "This Is Me." That would have been another really, really tough one to. You know, I probably would have been better off with an 80s boy band like Spandau Ballet or Duran Duran or something like that. Perhaps next time I do this, I'll pre-frame it. Can I have some 80s male?
Yeah. You can have Spandau Ballet. I was a Spandau fan. My sister was Duran.
She's strong, she's undone. Doing
Yeah.
a bit of reminiscing now, we are.
Yeah, so we can forget the Duran stuff, because that was my sister. I was Spandau. Just saying, you're either one or the other. which is always absolutely amazing.
So did we have any questions or anything? Well, just before we, because I've just looked at the time and realised that.
Yep, I think we had one actual. So Harley said, "Do the dialects ever change?"
Yes, they do, and that was why I wanted to try and do something for somebody this evening, because when I had the girls here, there was something totally different came out of my mouth that made all our hairs stand on end to when I do it in the car. So when I do it in the car, and I'm not, you know, tuning into anybody other than me as far as I'm aware. Although, having said that, interestingly enough, a couple of weeks ago, I went from one song to another song, and the first song I thought, oh, that feels and sounds like it's a real mix of, similar to what I've done this evening, African, American, Hawaiian, those sorts of, and then I can't remember what it was, but another one came on, and I was like, it felt and sounded totally oriental, and like there was really, yeah. Very rarely do I hear myself doing anything with sort of like F's or G's or anything that sort of, you know, that in our language. But when I had the girls here, that was exactly what happened. And I was like, oh, okay, that's not what normal. So this is why yesterday I was like, I'm just going to have to sing loads all the way there for an hour, all the way back, just every song that comes on. But some songs almost won't let me do it with them. So that's another thing that I found. But short answer to the question is, yes, there's definitely different dialects. So generally, I would say I've only been aware of sort of like 2 or 3 major changes at any point. I would say at the moment, it's more sort of similar to what I've shared with you this evening. But who knows, when I start to do it more publicly, and if I end up doing one-to-ones, I don't know. I have no idea where it's going. I mean, this is my debut performance, as rubbish as it may well have been, but hopefully the message you know, the intention was there to get other people doing, you know, whatever they feel they need to do and be okay about it. I don't know where it's going. I feel like I need to run a workshop. That was amazing. Look forward to connecting. Yeah, cool. You too, Claire. Yeah, so I'm probably going to run a workshop in a couple of weeks' time. I don't know whether it will be in person or online or both. If it's in person, then as you know, I'm in Medway, so it will have to be Medway, Kent. So it won't just be doing what I'm doing this evening. There will obviously be other voice work and, you know, things like that going on, just to really, you know, get that expansion. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go. I mean, you know, normally I will come on and we'll talk about, you know, for example, how to be a, you know, a published author. Well, obviously I can talk on that, but I can go, hey, look at all this stuff and blah, 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 this. I have no idea. I have no idea. It's just like, it's something that's been happening through me for the last year. And at this last Lionsgate, it was almost like this last Lionsgate activated it. This Lionsgate said, okay, now you need to be telling the world about this. And it's like, really, like, gazillion people do light language. There's loads of people using their voice. They don't really need me adding into the mix anymore. But
yeah,
hey ho, I do as I'm guided. So, you know, what can I say?
Exactly, and that's the beauty, because it's always going to be evolving. So, you know, every time you do it, there's going to be a little bit more that comes in. There's going to be a little bit, you know, a little bit more that's going to take it to the next level. So, you know, the fact that you've come public with it now means that things are really going to start speeding up for you. And June says, yes, a workshop would be good, but have an online one or two. So you could do in person and online at the same time for those that can be there in person.
Well, that's exactly, you've sort of validated exactly what I was thinking, because I was thinking it'd be really cool to have 4 or 5 people here in my little cave, as I call it. You can see I'm all cave colour. And then maybe just do a Facebook Live as well. Or even a Zoom, you know, so that I can have the, you know, the people here in the room. And I'm sort of, there's 2 quite different things going on in my head at the moment, because as you know, we've just published Isla's book. I don't know if you can, you can't see it there. But that the medicine story actually invites you to sing at certain points in the story. And I just feel a workshop with that would be incredible. And it feels like that, but that feels like it needs to be a group, so that everybody can then, you know, join in, sing their own song, but, you know, like sitting around the campfire of old, you know, and literally returning to ceremony. I mean, that's the whole point of what Isla is teaching everybody, is returning to ceremony. And I think this is a lot of what the, you know, working with the voice has always been about, but it's very much about that, you know, coming through me now. It's about returning to that oneness, returning to that ceremony. You know, we've all been, me particularly, as you know, very isolated. You know, thank the Lord for things like this, Be Live, Zoom, you know, Facebook. Otherwise, I would be completely and utterly disconnected from the world outside of my own little bubble. But I think, you know, it feels like it's time for a lot of people to reconnect. The interesting thing there, though, of course, is I'm finding the higher your vibe, the smaller your tribe. I saw that quote, and I think I might have said it in our last, and it's a weird one, because I am finding that the more I'm evolving and expanding, and the more people I'm trying to reach, the smaller my universe, the smaller my human universe is actually becoming. You know, I've still got obviously a lot of, you know, lovely friends and people like, you know, June, who are always there and will always be there, you know, sort of as my cheerleaders, I suppose, for want of a better way of putting it. But, you know, there's physical distance between, you know, so many people right now. You know, I'm in Kent, June's in Norfolk. And, you know, we all seem to be leading these really mega busy lives. And yet, you know, well, time's speeding up. There's another conversation for another day, but you know, just sort of saying to anybody who's going, well, I really want to do all these things, but there's not enough hours in the day. No, really, that time is speeding up. It's not just because we're getting older. I mean, time is relative, but you know, back in the 80s, what we saw as 24 hours on the clock is now maybe only about 15 or 16 of those hours because Mother Earth's heartbeat and the resonance has sped up. And I think as our vibrations raise as well, you know, doing things in human time, God, you know,
Yeah.
when I'm in human time, I am constantly clock watching at the moment, and it's only when I'm doing human stuff, like, you know, this week we've got hospital appointments, so I'm constantly going to have to be mindful of, you know, looking at the clock, how long is it going to take me to get there to the, you know, without any other human interaction or intervention, I would be swanning along with more than enough hours in my day.
Exactly, and you know, and that's the way things are happening now. As you know, I do angel oracle card readings, and I would like to do for you, Sharon, everyone watching, is to pull a card to see what you all need to know for your highest good at this moment in time.
Oh, let it be, use your voice or something like that. That will just be hysterical. Or
Who knows? Because obviously, when I do the cards, when I do the cards for what you need to know for your highest good at this moment in time. Because even though I work with the past, when I take people back to the past, it's to learn and understand and heal, so that it doesn't affect them in the present. And when I take people into the future, it's so they can understand, see, know the steps they need to take, so that they come back to the present. So, what does Sharon and everyone who's watching this live or the replay need to know for their highest good at this moment in time? What does Sharon and everyone who's watching this live or the replay need to know for their highest good at this moment in? Okay. Well, I think you've got your answer about what you're going to be doing with this, Sharon. Ascending the mountain, keep going forward. So yeah, you've got to you know, this is saying too, you've got to keep taking this forward now. You know, the path is there for you. You've got to be taking it. You've got to be taking it forward. And for everyone,
and bearing in mind, my message was for the whole point was for me to do something, and even if I made a fool of myself, it didn't matter, because the point is for everybody to stand in their power, speak their truth, sing their truth, whatever it may be. If it makes you feel great, it's you know, what can I say? If it makes you feel great, it's great.
Exactly. So for you personally, Sharon, this is, you know, keep going forward with this soul's journey, this soul's language, because that's quite important now for you to do that. And for everyone who's watching, you know, it is saying whatever you're doing in your life, it's keep going forward. Don't let anything hold you back now. The path is there, it's clear for you. Yes, it looks like there might be mountains, but those mountains are there just guiding you along that path and keeping you protected whilst you're doing it. So just keep moving forward. That is the message for everyone here. And let's see what we got here. I saw something earlier. Yeah, so June says everyone has their own unique way of doing it. Yours will reach those that need to receive it, those that vibe with it. And Harley says, although not the same, light language is similar to speaking in tongue, in where you aren't speaking to actual humanoid language, but yet are you delivering a message from beyond? Exactly. You know, and it does resonate with so many different
She finishes off, continues with, your spirit is in high vibration, which may be brought on by music, dance, or chanting. 100%.
Yeah,
it is. It's all about what it's always about with me, which you said at the beginning, expanding consciousness. You know, my purpose on the planet is to assist whoever is drawn to me to, become the best vibration they can be in this earthly lifetime. And like I said just a minute ago, if it makes you feel great, then it's great. Souls you're meant to vibe with are your tribe, indeed.
Exactly.
Which is why, you can share these things with certain people. It's why I knew this evening, well, there's going to be 2 or 3 people at least that I knew would be on, that I'm like, well, it's fine. I mean, Harley, I don't actually know is this Michelle's Harley?
No. This I've had
this
this.
is a Harley that I'm not sure.
Yeah.
They're very positively good.
Yeah. So which is absolutely lovely. And June says, thank you, Ray. I can take the message of the cards. And Harley says, Ray, you're a beam of sunshine. Thank you. You are more than welcome, Harley. So I hope everyone you've enjoyed this. So Sharon, do you have any insights or last words of wisdom or thoughts to leave our viewers?
Well, it's funny because when you were talking earlier on, you might have seen me grab my pen and write something down because I thought, oh yeah, she's going to ask me that at the end. And this is again something that's been coming to me a lot lately. Now, I may get shot down in flames for this, but I'm going to say it anyway. There's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Publicity is the wrong word. Awareness. There's a lot of awareness now, which there never was before, and it's all great, amazing, fantastic, brilliant. So don't think this is me saying we must not be aware of this, but mental health, right? So mental health is talked about a lot. A lot of people have been suffering. I mean, Simon's doing his thing for the suicide prevention, so it is vitally, vitally important. But really, and so this is something I think I'm going to try and change, really, somewhat ironically, because actually that's what all us light workers are doing and being, is vibrational health talked about it in the same way as mental health. So what I'm sort of trying to do here in my little space, whether that's physically in groups or, going out to the world, is, creating incredibly awesome vibrational health. Because if we do that, then actually we're moving forward years down the line, as those ripples continue to go out, we're going to have to worry less about mental health. Because as we all know, as light workers, healers, therapists, whatever it is that you're doing out there with energy, medicine, Reiki, all these modalities, is that everything that happens to us on the physical has started because we've ignored something. If I go out here, you're not going to see my hands, but if you just think, the consciousness, is like ad infinitum. But if you think about the aura, you've got your spiritual body, your mental body, your emotional body, your physical body, and your physical body only suffers when you've ignored everything. So like you take people obviously on their past life regression, future life progression. That's working on this very outer layer. And you will bring things through that can help them mentally and emotionally, so that physically the body, the human form in this earthly lifetime can be at its best. But we can only be at our best if we are in amazing, awesome vibrational health. So I think that's sort of, one of my other messages really this evening, is that do whatever you need to do and be whoever you need to be to, continue in your best vibrational health, and just, start. So that mountain, ascend the mountain, everybody, ascend the mountain and shout from the rooftops how important vibrational health is. And as I say, it's ironical because, all of us in this line of, this way of life, That's what we're all doing. But I think we're maybe not shouting about it as much as a lot of mental health, emotional health, physical health advocates. You know, you've got your nutritionists and the body workers and things like that on the physical health, and I know everything's all interconnected, and it's all interconnected and all is one. But the vibrational health, I think, is just so important. So lots of love to everybody from me, and yeah, I'll let you wrap up, Ray.
Yep, okay. So just very quickly, yes, it's most important. I've been trying to people that myself. Harley says Ed Casey spoke frequency therapy, and he said it was like medicine of the future, top hospitals worlds are now starting to incorporate as part of their treatment. And of course, you've got things like med beds and all the different tools that are now coming in. And as June says, keep your vibe high. So it is kind of like a watch this space for vibrational things that are coming in. So I hope everyone that you've enjoyed this conversation and found it insightful, because I know I definitely have. So if people want to connect with you, Sharon, how do they do that?
As you know, I'm all over Facebook and not to be found anywhere else, despite having other online social media accounts. So Facebook is the best way. So facebook.com/sharon.l.lynn. mysticmouse.com website. They are the two main places. Obviously, you know, if they find you, they can search for me if needs be. But Facebook Messenger, and then if you're an email person, Mystic Mouse, you know, come and find me online, all our goodies and whatnot, which are obviously all about, you know, being the best vibration you can be. Mainly,
exactly.
You know, most of what we've done this year is all through the animal kingdom, animals and nature and whatnot. But yeah, mysticmouse.com or facebook.com/sharon.l.lynn.
And what I'll do is I'll put the direct links to those in the comments so people can just...
Oh, and sorry, interrupting, I've just remembered one shout out where people can physically connect with me and Michelle and some other wonderful high vibrational light workery types, along with the horses and the alpacas and anybody else who join us. We will be at the Little Horse Yard on the 22nd of September with a Space to Breathe and Space to Be day. I don't like saying B day because that makes it sound like something else. I just heard that in my head as I was. But anyway, Space to Breathe and Space to Be workshop coming up on the 22nd of September. So yeah. Thank you, Ray.
I know, you're welcome. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. And of course, if you're now ready to remember your divine presence, step onto your spiritual multidimensional path, but you feel lost, confused, stuck or alone, then please feel free to reach out and connect with me, and we can arrange a free 20-minute clarity video call to see where you are now and how you can move forward to take charge of your destiny so that you can spread your wings and soar. And of course, you can receive a free gift of Connecting with Your Guides and Angels PDF, or a future life progression recording, as well as a couple of other free gifts if you want to sign up to my email list. And again, I'd like to thank everyone so much for watching, and especially those that joined in the conversation: Claire, Harley, and June, Andy. You know, you make the show when you join in with your questions, your comments, your thoughts. So even though we didn't get to put all of them on the screen, thank you so much, and we'll go through and look at them afterwards. And I'd like to invite everyone to share this video, as I'm sure there are more people who feel lost and want to get clear on their destiny just like you. And of course, if you are watching this on YouTube, then please feel free to subscribe and hit that bell button to be notified of when this show goes live, or I post new guided meditations. And remember that every subscribe, like, comment, share, whether that's me, Sharon, any of my other guests on any of our social media, really helps get our message out there and creates that ripple effect, that butterfly effect, to help more people raise their vibration. And I look forward to seeing you all same time, same place next week. Take care. Bye.